Endless supremacy battles at Ardhi House over the last 2 years forced the National Lands Commission to seek an advisory opinion from the Supreme Court on its functions vis-à-vis that of the ministry. One key point of difference has been the authority to issue titles.
The task of registering land title lies with the national government, and the ministry has the authority to issue land titles on behalf of the said government.
But according to drafters of the Constitution, this may slide back the country to the past days where the executive dished out land for political reasons, something that gave rise to the National Land Commission. While the Supreme Court says the Commission must be involved in the registration process and give a clean bill of health before any title is issued, some argue there's a legal vacuum to foster this.
As it is right now, as we're talking on the 2nd of December 2015 today, no, those checks and balances cannot hold as Kenyans intended. This pronouncement by the Supreme Court might be interpreted that the executive, like it was in the olden days, can run riot on matters public land.
The National Land Commission ought to continue to play the oversight role, the monitoring role, while the ministry continues the implementation role.
The inclusion of the National Lands Commission in the Constitution was largely born out of the experience during the Moi presidency, where the president had the ultimate powers to allocate land titles, a situation that led to an executive abuse of the process. And now some of those involved in the crafting of the new Constitution say there's reason to be concerned.
Until we have clarity in what collaboration and cooperation between the Commission and the ministry or the executive means, then these risks abound. And I think the history of this country is the one that leads us to make that conclusion.
In the advisory opinion, Chief Justice Dr. Willy Mutunga called for a realignment of various land acts and legislations, establishing various state organs tasked with land management, and tasked the Attorney General with leading the review.
Each of them is required to work in cooperation with the others within the framework of a scheme of checks and balances.
Whether the Supreme Court ruling will now trigger the two hitherto rival institutions to work together is anybody's guess, just as is whether the executive could end up abusing this. Hussein Mohammed, Citizen Business Center.